Thank you, Chair. A good afternoon to fellow participants. I wasn't scheduled to make this statement, but I'm happy to get this opportunity to do so. Just before I do that, I'd like to thank the organizers, and particularly a group that has enabled me to be here, the National Assembly Ladies Spouses Association, who are seated there with me, and if they could just wave. That organization is probably the only one existing in the world. And I'll tell you why I value it and why I encourage their existence and why I have accompanied them to this organization, to this meeting. As you have heard, I was Speaker for a long time of the House of Parliament of Kenya. 15 years. It is forever. So I know quite a bit about Parliament. I know a bit about parliamentarians. I know a lot about politicians. And I know a little about dispute resolution. Indeed, it's been part of my life, having been trained and practiced as a lawyer, member of parliament, cabinet minister, finally speaker, and recently as the chair of the National Cohesion of Kenya. I know what makes life difficult for the world. And what makes life difficult for the world is politics. Politics and politicians. That is what makes life difficult. That's what drives the world. All of you can sit here and orate. And if the politicians do not agree with you, you're wasting your time. You can ask me that. And so recently when I was again asked to give a little of my time to my country in leading our nation to cohesion, to bring the various communities together, to stop warring communities from killing one another, it dawned on me that you cannot do it alone. You must get people to help you out of this. And among the most important people I recognize as useful, no, not useful, crucial assistance in this journey are the wives of members of parliament. And I repeat, the wives, because parliament has both sexes, men and women. And the men have spouses called women. And the women have spouses called men. But I didn't reach out to men, because men are troublemakers. Women are not troublemakers. And so that's why we have this interesting organization. Because I have also realized that for 70 plus years, this city has become the mecca of orations. The world comes here every year to orate. And here we are orating as well. 70 years plus orations. But it's time to think outside that box. It's time to speak less. Time to do something. And let me just give you a little experience out of my country, what we do. We, like most African countries, and indeed most societies around the world, have social problems. Some of them is race, some of them is tribe, a little of it or a lot of it is also economic. And these divisions lead to active warfare. I have 2 minutes. Now, what do you do when you have a society that is at loggerheads at itself? We tried the army, you try the police, it doesn't work. So you try your tongue. And we have had some open air discussions and bring communities that have actually destroyed the towns, killed hundreds of people together without firing a bullet. That's why we reach out to the church. We reach out to children through scouts. And yes, we reach out to these ladies to ask their men to contribute to peacekeeping rather than to warfare. All these are very nice things. We'll all want to see them in our lifetime. All of them. And they have all been talked about for the last 70 years. Bottom line is peace. Without peace, nothing happens among all these other things. But peace has been the subject of the UN for the last 75 years. And yet, it has not been attained. Let's all think deeply about what we should do and what we should not do in the coming years to make these meetings meaningful rather than rhetorical and a great waste of public funds. Thank you.